Well, first of all, thank you for being here. And also, I want to say that I have no interest to declare. And you are going to hear something that is quite different from what you have been hearing all along. So, let's see what. Okay. Orgonomy basically grew from the womb of psychoanalysis. Freud introduced three major theories in psychoanalysis: libido theory, or the theory of energy. The theory of energy, the psychosexual energy, then topographic theory, or the theory of conscious and unconscious, and structural theory, theory of ego, superego. The three theories somehow overlap in some areas. Freud's students, one by one, abandoned the libido theory, and they speculated on the other theories, theory of conscious and unconscious, and the theory of structural theory of ego, superego, partly because of the political and social consequences of libido theory. The only student that recognized the significance of libido theory was Dr. Wilhelm Reich, and this is his museum in Rangeley, Maine, in the United States. Dr. Reich recognized that the libido theory is the basic and the most important theory of Freud, and the other theories, such as economic, the libido, the structural theory, and topographic theory, are based on the libido theory. Reich changed the name of libido energy to orgon energy, and this is in relation to the relation of that energy with body organs. Now, contemporary psychiatric textbooks define schizophrenia as a disease characterized by a broad range of symptoms. In fact, the symptoms are so diverse and so broad that it covers the entire spectrum of human thought, emotion, and behavior, with an unidentified psychopathology and no single clinical feature characteristic of schizophrenia. Schizophrenia, from conventional medicine and psychiatric point of view, is a bizarre illness. Schizophrenia, based on its manifestations, is divided into different subtypes: paranoid schizophrenia, catatonic schizophrenia, undifferentiated schizophrenia, disorganized schizophrenia, which also was called hebephrenic schizophrenia, and residual schizophrenia. Antipsychotic medications are helpful. However, residual symptoms continue in majority of patients, and patients remain vulnerable, fragile, and live a marginal life, and often exacerbations of symptoms happen, and the patient continues to deteriorate gradually. Now, orgonomic perspective. Orgonomy, as I said before, grew in the womb of psychoanalysis and is based on libido theory of Freud. Dr. Reich, who is the founder of orgonomy, suggested that biological energy, or the libido energy that Freud identified, in the human is generated and is propagated in a vegetative nervous system. This is a schematic. This is a schematic show of what the structure is. The center is the ganglia, autonomic ganglia, and propagates in a pulsative way the energy which is propagated in the organism by autonomic nervous system, sympathetic and parasympathetic. Two papers in electrophysiologic studies corroborate Reich's theory on propagation of energy from solar plexus to the periphery of the body. This is one of the papers which was in 1961 in Pavlov Institute in Leningrad. They did on cat, and they have a positive results corroborating Dr. Reich's findings. Now, integration of organism to a whole happens gradually since infancy. Integration of organism begins since birth, and gradual integration of different organ energies on orgonomic field of different organ bodies gradually happens to the unitary whole of the body. The dysfunction of autonomic life apparatus of organism, disruption and distortion of orderly flow of biological energy in the body causes a variety of diseases, including schizophrenia. Disruption and distortion of bioenergetic flow in the organism most often happens as a result of emotional and physical armoring. Armoring is defined as a rigidities of character and spasm of musculature, which functions essentially as defense against the breakthrough of emotions. While conventional psychiatry and psychology and medicine cannot explain manifestations of catatonic schizophrenia, in orgonomy we attribute it to the process of heavy muscular armoring, heavy muscular contractions, an attempt of the organism to extinguish or lessen the sensation of flow of biophysical energy and emotions that are attached to it. This is a respiratory function test in a catatonic schizophrenia. You see how small is the respiration, and it should be like this, but it is very shallow, very restricted, with no medical reason to explain it. In orgonomic understanding, we explain it by muscular contraction and slowness of the respiration in order to suppress the feelings and flow of energy. While conventional psychiatry has no explanation about a wide range of different bizarre manifestations of paranoid schizophrenia, in orgonomy it is explained by patient's sense of flow of his own biological energy and his misinterpretation of it, attributing it to outside forces. The schizophrenic perceives his body energy in distorted manner. That is, he senses the sensation of crawling, pinching, or steering in his body and attributes it to someone else, a prosecutor trying to do it. But that's his own body energy. So looking from orgonomic perspective, schizophrenia does not seem bizarre or crazy, but logical and comprehensible. A physician who masters the orgonomic understanding of schizophrenia and integrates it into his knowledge himself becomes an integrating force for his patient. I think this is my last slide. The next slide is the address for the site that the people can go more. Is it okay to show?
Yeah.
Okay, this is the site, Journal of Psychiatric Organ Therapy, with its address. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We can take a few questions or comments. Yes?
Does this orgonomic thing, way to understand patients with schizophrenia translate into practical things or into practical measures?
Absolutely, because when on conventional psychiatry, the psychiatrist does not know the patient what is this all about. But by orgonomic principles, you know why the patient is feeling what he's saying. Where is it coming from? Once you know how the patient is feeling is correct, it's not bizarre, it's not out of blue sky, it's not crazy, then your interaction with the patient, your comfort to deal with the patient is as such that comforts the patient. He knows that he's not crazy, he's not falling about, he's sensing what really there is. You know? So in that way, it's absolutely helpful.
Any other comments or questions?
Thank you.
Thank you. Is Dr. Juanes from Tunisia here? Yes. So I welcome Dr. Juanes from Tunisia, who will talk to us about remission